We have Joseph and Nikki working their tails off, taking care of you. Make sure you take care of them. Okay? So, I think we're on chapter 11 now, right?
Yep.
Episode 11, chapter 11. This is something really unique. Matt has been coming to my open mics for quite a while, and he's a writer. And so we're seeing something. He's writing a screenplay, or a screenplay, right?
Yeah, screenplay.
And it's a science fiction thing set. Well, I'll let him explain. So anyway, hold on, Matt. I gotta set your the camera before you start.
Okay.
Put your hands together for Matt Fusari.
All right. Well, Don's setting this up. Tom's setting this up. Excuse me. I am a local writer. This is part of an overall work I like to call The Factory, and it is a science fiction story that takes place about 100 to 130 years from now. And this particular story is a part of that universe, although it actually takes place a little bit later in that same universe. So, with that, once again, I'd like you all to return with me to the early 22nd century, to a world where the next major industry in the United States is the manufacture of biological replacement parts, where the impossible is now tomorrow's reality. And it's a world where man has advanced to such a level that it is possible to literally recreate the human body into a form a person desires. We continue the story of Fran Jensen, a young transgender who has quite literally been transformed genetically, biologically, and physically into a female. Or so we have thought. Due to a stroke that Frankie Jensen suffered, the transformation procedure was aborted while it was underway. As a result, Frankie Jensen and Fran Jensen are now two separate people. Fran is a healthy, beautiful 30-year-old woman with all of Frankie's memories and emotions. But she faces an uncertain future now that she knows the truth, that she is merely 5 weeks old, as well as a looming threat from Frankie's father, who did not approve of the transformation procedure in the first place. And Frankie Jensen himself, his future remains ambiguous as we begin episode 11 of Trans. We fade into the exterior of the operating room of the Transformation Institute, time unknown. And we've dissolved to inside the operating theater. It appears nightmarish, almost hellish. And Frankie is naked, though only his torso can be seen. He is in a hellish version of the hospital's operating theater, and it is visible in his eyes through a sepia-tone lens. He looks ahead and he gasps. Frankie's point of view, he sees a large, monstrous form in front of him which resembles Dr. Corbin. Other monstrous forms are beside the pseudo-Corbin, resembling his parents, Dr. Dumaine, and other shadowy figures in medical garb. The pseudo-Corbin holds a giant axe over his head and his eyes glow red, and swings it downward. As the axe fills the entire frame, we, the audience, hear the sound of meat being sliced. Off camera, Frankie screams, and we cut to the monsters. The monsters are suddenly pulling a female body away, naked like Frankie. But the camera angles conceal this fact as we focus on the woman's face and upper body, though we only see her arms, face, and part of her back as she is being dragged away. It is clear to the audience that it is Fran. And we note to the director who would eventually shoot this, trying to de-emphasize the nudity of both characters so not to inadvertently sexualize the terror. Yeah, I want to keep it in context. Fran silently screams and bangs on the ground through a now hazy red-tinted lens as she is dragged away by the monsters. And we cut to the real world. Frankie. Frankie lay on the ground, a quivering mess, or rather what is left of him. Through special effects, we only see half of his body. Of what we do see of the inside is hollow, like a dead tree trunk. He screams. And we cut to Frankie's hospital room. Frankie gasps for breath as his eyes pop open. He looks desperately around the room. Everything seems normal. He sees someone in the corner in surgical scrubs. And we cut to the nurse. A nurse stands at the edge of Frankie's hospital room at the door. She is holding her cell phone against her face. Dr. Corbin, he's awake. Yes, sir, right away. And then we cut to the parking garage a few minutes later. We cut to Karen Jensen, who, as you know in the last episode, was just left by her husband in the parking lot alone. Karen slowly walks back to the parking garage behind the hospital to the entrance. She wipes her eyes. We hear the sound effect of her cell phone ringing. She fumbles with her purse to grab her cell phone. She reaches into her purse as it rings for a third time. Yes? Karen pauses for a moment to listen. Oh, thank God. I'll be there right away. No, my husband will not be with me. We dissolve to Frankie's room a short time later. We cut to a close-up of Frankie's eyes. A pen light is shining in them. Frankie's eyes move with the light. Karen stands in the background, trembling nervously. Is Frankie all right? We cut to a medium close-up of Dr. Corbin standing over Frankie. Dr. Corbin shines the light in Frankie's eyes. He doesn't immediately acknowledge Karen. Good. No visual impairment. Doctor? How do you feel, Frankie? Frankie? I don't know. I feel like I'm missing something. It's stiff all over. Can I get something to eat? I don't see why not. But it will be on the light side for a while until you regain your strength. When we cut in to a shot of Karen. Karen at this point is losing her patience. Doctor? Dr. Corbin looks at Karen briefly, back at Frank. Mrs. Jensen, please. I know you're concerned, but I need to finish my examination. But so far, it appears the tissue regeneration was successful, though it's still too early to tell if there is any memory loss. Memory loss? Oh, God, no. It'll be all right, Mrs. Jensen. Remember, we still have a backup copy of Frankie's mind before the procedure occurred. If there is any memory loss, we can correct it. It's not like it was a century ago, when having a stroke had so many debilitating health effects. It's as treatable as bronchitis. What happened to me? You had a stroke, Frankie. You've been out for almost 5 weeks. While your brain tissue recovered from it. 5 weeks? Yes, but all things considered, it could have been worse. You are a remarkably resilient young man. Man? How? Doctor, this isn't my body? Corbin nods at Frankie sadly. I'm afraid it is, Frankie. I know this is going to be harder to accept for you, but you are still biologically male. You're going to have to accept and learn to live life as a male. We couldn't complete the transformation procedure. I'm sorry. When we cut to Frankie. No, this isn't me. This isn't me. My name is... And we cut to Karen, who looks down sadly and closes her eyes as Frankie begins to weep. Cut to black. End of episode 11.
Wow.
More in about 2 weeks.
So Nick keeps that book going, doesn't it?
Matt Fusari, everybody. Episode 11.